Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy V, and today we are doing an interesting video, and that's covering around the topic Naruto Storm 5. Now, ever since the release of Naruto Storm 4, even with the Boruto DLC expansion, people have been craving a next installment of the series. This game is fairly old, but even to this day is one of the most popular anime games that are still being played. And that is because of the animation, CC's 2 perfect cell shading style, as well as, music and anime cutscenes during the fighting. But other than that, people are still craving for another Naruto game. For Dragon Ball Z, we have a promise of getting one almost every year, and ours was already satisfied with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. The last game that Naruto has made was Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker, and that was a failed project. But just like how Xenoverse 1, as well as previous Dragon Ball Z games, they have failures, but that doesn't prove or show that they can't make another amazing game, just like they did with Kakarot. So for Naruto Storm 5, even though they made Shinobi Striker, the next game can be a lifesaver and call back all the Naruto fans. Now the idea of what I wanted to cover in this video is the idea of another Naruto Storm 5 game when there'll be one. Other video game concepts that the Naruto game can approach, and as well as information and news about a new Naruto game. So the number one fact that I wanted to point out is that Naruto Storm 5 will not happen. And the CEO of CyberConnects 2, which is Hiroshi Matsuyama, he even stated in an interview saying that Naruto Storm 4 was the last installment of the series. Because if you look at the story, that's the end of the Naruto arc, you can say, before it moves on to Boruto. This bleeds into the next category, and that's how other games ended. Dragon Ball Z was probably the most popular anime game back then, with the Budokai series being highly popular. Then, people would assume that the Budokai series were the top performance that the game can make, but then they made Tenkaichi Budokai, which became a whole nother form of a Dragon Ball Z game, and still that game is amazing. But then, it branched off into Battle of Gods and Xenoverse, but then it came back to Kakarot. And as you can see, that there's multiple genres of styles for these games, but it opens doors for potential, future games of the same anime that we love. So for Naruto Storm 5, it can go down the same route as a 3D fighter. It can be something similar to Storm or similar to Xenoverse. If it was for Storm, I would assume that the story would be after the Boruto arc, which could, become like a Boruto Storm series, or, they can give it any name they want to and still have, the same principles. Just like Xenoverse kind of fights the same way, same with Legends as Tenkaichi 3 or the Tenkaichi series, but they don't say it, or it can go the popular 2D fighter route. It can be as realistic as Mortal Kombat, to where, as they can change the meta to where you build up a meter and you click both the back triggers to initiate, your breaker move. Or they can go on the same side as Dragon Ball FighterZ with the Guilty Gears formula, and use the 2D art, and I wouldn't mind against a 2D fighting style like Kakarot or like FighterZ, because it can bring in tech and meta that we never experienced before in the Naruto game, which makes it fun, And the final method that I can think of a game going down would be the RPG element of it. It can be something like Devil May Cry 5, where you're I think the Naruto Ninja Chronicles were almost like the Devil May Cry series. Or it can go in the way of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, where the game is story driven and you have control of Naruto, in which you expand his abilities, like the One Piece game World Seeker did. Or you can also go the route with Genshin Impact and make it a multiplayer aspect where you can collect, characters, you can possibly customize characters and explore an open world with friends. I mean, I'm assuming everyone would love a game like that, but these are all options that Naruto, Bandai have to put on the table. And I know it's a lot of hope thinking when it comes to the idea of a next Naruto game, even for any other anime game. But as E3 is approaching this year, a lot of minds are going to start definitely thinking about what is Naruto's next game, especially how can they do better than Shinobi Strikers. But another topic that I wanted to talk about is what the new Naruto game should have. And I know we don't have any idea what the name is going to be, nor what type of game it's going to be, but there's certain keys that a game should have to especially give us that next gen feeling. And the number one reason, or the number one example of this, would be the graphics. Now, Naruto Storm 4 graphics is pretty good, especially because it's a cel-shaded game, so it doesn't have to be realistic as the counter games like Valhalla or Last of Us. But with its own graphic style, if it can be either the same or a lot better, just like how Scarlet Nexus is going, that would definitely be needed for a next gen Naruto game. Another one would be obviously characters. Characters has been like an issue with a lot of games coming out recently. They seem to put characters behind a paywall. I know it's not a problem for most, but if you look at it, how games used to come out, games used to come out with their full character roster. And as more newer games are coming out, it could be due to the demand of the game, but they are giving us less characters and we're paying for more characters, which is like DLC, to satisfy, that roster count. But if anything, one way that they should entrap Naruto fans is by maintaining that large character roster that they have. Since they can't repeat the story like Dragon Ball Z do, they should, bend it up a little bit and offer characters, beyond the Boruto arc or beyond, after Naruto's the Last War. So they can include characters like Kiwaki, they can include characters like, older Jiraiya, or just many of the new Jonin and Chunin ninjas for the next gen game. Another thing with characters would be stages, because obviously if it's going to take place of a time after the Naruto arc, then there should be new places to fight in. Another main thing for fighting games that I feel, especially anime fighting games, is exotic movements. And this would be like how Naruto has little cinematic cutscenes when you do your first move or your ultimate or your team move, or even like breaking the barrier around the level and knocking them out. Like these tiny cinematic time frames gives the battle a more lively experience, especially like Mortal Kombat. Another thing is, I feel like, it's not too heavy, but I feel like it would be for an anime game, is having good music. For me, my favorite stage is like the Great Battle War stages, because the music is sad and it sounds good. Anything that can increase the level of engagement and to make you feel more immersed into the game is needed for another next gen. And like I said before, the last idea I had for it was just story. It has to be anything new. I'm sure Naruto fans won't mind if they made like another Storm game and kind of re-encompass the whole story by adding a little, but it would be a lot better if they just went from the Boruto arc and onward. Now I know this is a lot of speculation and a lot of hope thinking before the game is even announced, but I'm sure that with 2021 in the way of our we got the E3 showcase, we have another Bandai showcase. There's a lot of doors of opportunity for the next Naruto game to be announced. As for Bandai Namco's progress towards making another game, they are pretty much held up. If you think about it, Bandai Namco is working on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the DLC, as well as Fighter DLC for the Gogeta and the Bebe Vegeta. But they have hinted that they are working on a new anime game. and this was during an interview, the same interview that they also, you know, debunked the Storm 5 game. But in this interview, they were questioned with if they were to make another anime game series like Naruto Shippuden, what game would they choose? And they couldn't answer that, but it's because they already had an idea of a game and already started developing it. So 2021 is definitely like the perfect window for them to drop a teaser or announcement of another Naruto game. But all we can do right now is just hope. But they are definitely working on an anime game, and that's a cold fact that they are doing. And I know that people have also been talking about the new Demon Slayer game, which is also being worked on by Bandai Namco and CC2, I believe. But this new game is rumored to have the same formula as the Storm series and just a different, you know, a different anime, I assume. So even though if we might not get the next Naruto game, we will have another anime game with the Naruto Storm, you know, mechanics that we all love. But that will be the end of my video. Be sure to let me know what are you guys' thoughts on the next Naruto game. What are characters that you guys would like to see in this game, and what are some physics or some mechanics that you would like to be introduced. And that can be via either wall fighting or my favorite is the key clashing. Even like if they did like a Naruto and Sasuke, or the Itachi and Sasuke kunai clash, if they add those little, you know, little moments in the fights, that would definitely increase my immersion of a new Naruto game. But yeah, thank you guys for watching on this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I play a lot of games that range from anime games to, you know, popular RPGs. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out the video. Remember to leave, you know, in a comment if you guys have any ideas or concepts about another Storm game or another Naruto game in general. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I know